Rules of indices. So today's learning objective is I will be able to multiply and divide with indices. Okay, so we're going to take some notes first and then we'll do a couple of worked examples. So when working with the rules of indices, the base numbers have to be the same. So that's the first thing we're going to write down. Okay, that is very important. If the base numbers are not the same, you cannot apply the rules of indices. So the first rule we are looking at is rule 1, and that is to do with multiplying. So if I had something like 3 to the 4 times 3 squared, we know that 3 to the 4 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and then you're timesing it by 3 squared, which is 3 times 3. So you could say that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but times in 3 by itself 6 times. Okay, let's look at another one. What if I had d squared times d to the 6? So I'd have d times 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 d. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm timesing d by itself 8 times. Okay, so some of you might have seen a rule already. What if I had 4 to the power of 27 times 4 to the power of 31? I certainly do not have enough room on my page to write out 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 this many times. It's going to take forever. So if we look back at this, we might be able to see the shortcut. I had 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2 gave me 3 to the power of 6. D to the power of 2 times d to the power of 6 gave me d to the power of 8. So our first rule is when you multiply we add the powers. So when you are multiplying with indices with the same base number or letter, so we add the powers. So when we multiply, we add the powers. So actually we could do this one now, nice and easy. 4 to the power of 27 at 31 is 58. Okay, so I've got a couple of worked examples to do with you here, just to make sure we did understand that. Okay, 3 to the power of 8 times 3 to the power of 5 is 3 to the power of 8 at 5 is 13. Okay, y to the power of 3 times y to the power of 6 is y to the power of 3 at 6 is 9. Okay, I've got 2 for you to do now. Press pause, have a go, and we will go through them. Okay, so we've got 2 to the power of 9 add 2 is 11. And we've got h to the power of 5 add 3 is 8. Hopefully you got those correct. I have 10 practice questions for you to do now. Press pause, have a go, and then we will go through them. Hopefully you got all of those correct. Good job. Okay, moving on to rule 2. Have a look at a couple of examples here. So 3 to the power of 4 divided by 3 squared. We could write this out as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 divided by 3 times 3. And what actually happens is one of them will cancel with one of them will cancel with one of them, and you're left with 3 squared. Okay, if I had d to the 6 divided by d squared, I'd have d times d divided by d times d. So that cancels with that one, that cancels with that one. Lovely. So I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, d to the 4. So the rule for dividing is when we divide, we subtract the powers. So when we divide, we subtract the powers. Okay, let's look at a couple of examples. So 3 to the 8 divided by 3 to the 5 becomes 3 to the power of 8 minus 5 is 3. So we get 3 cubed. Now remember, division can look like this, or it could be the division symbol. So this time I have y. 8 minus 6 is 2. Okay. Right, I've got 2 for you to do. Press pause, have a go, and we'll go through them. Okay then, so we have 2 to the power of 9 minus 2 is 7, and I've got h to the power of 5 minus 3 is 2. Hopefully you got those correct. I've now got 9 questions for you to have a go at. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll mark them. Find the mistake. So what should the answer be? We should have 12. 10 minus 2 is 8. So that should be our answer. So what's happened here? Well, they've divided 12 by 12, and they have divided the powers. So they've actually made 2 mistakes there. Okay, hopefully you got all of those correct. Let's look at our next examples. So they're the first 2 rules of indices. Remember, the base numbers have to be the same in order to use the rules. When you multiply, you add the powers. When you divide, you subtract the powers. So now we're just going to look at a few more questions using those 2 rules. So our first example here, we've got 3 to the power of something times 3 to the power of 5 equals 3 to the power of 9. So we're finding out what that missing power is. So we know rule 1 says when you multiply with indices, you add the powers. So what would you add to 5 to get 9? So your answer would be 4. So the missing power is 4. Okay. This second example here is using both rules together. So we're going to do the top of the fraction first. So we're going to do y to the 8 times y to the 5 equals y to the 8 add 5 is 13. And then we're going to divide that answer by y to the 6. So 13 minus 6 is 7. Okay, so just do it one step at a time. Okay, so I've got 2 for you to do. Press pause, have a go, and then we will go through them. Okay, so we know the rule for timesing is you add the powers. So what add 5 gives you 15. This missing power should be 10. Next question, do the multiplication first. So 3 to the 8 times 3 squared. 8 add 2 is 10. And then we're going to divide by 3 cubed. 10 minus 3 will leave you with 3 to the 7. Okay, hopefully you got those correct. I've now got 12 questions for you to do, practicing all of the rules we've learnt so far. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through them. Okay, hopefully you got all of those correct. What I need you to do now is complete your exit ticket and send it to your class teacher.